Hello everyone. Today I will show you how to make Borůvkové koláče, blueberry koláče. In the Czech Republic, koláč is one, it's singular, and for plural, you would use the word koláče. I know in USA you say koláčes, so let's just get it correct. So I'll be saying koláče. I already have a recipe that I made as one of my first recipes, and it is a different dough. That one does not have an egg. This one does have an egg, and it has a nice spin. You will see later, and it's so good. So let's start with the recipe. We will need half a cup of milk. Here I have a really big bag of active dry yeast, but we will need 1 teaspoon. 2 tablespoons granulated sugar. I use cane sugar, but you can use just regular one. 1 3/4 of a cup all-purpose flour. Then we need 1 egg. Here I have half a stick unsalted butter. And in the whole recipe, you will end up using almost the full stick. So make sure to get plenty of butter. Here I have blueberries, 1 cup. Or if you want to put it on a scale, it's 5 ounces. Then we will brush the koláče before baking with half a tablespoon of melted unsalted butter. And then we will make a crumble topping. For the crumble, I have here 1/3 of a cup all-purpose flour, 2 tablespoons powdered sugar, and 2 tablespoons unsalted softened butter. And then at the end, we will sugar coat it. And for that, we will need 1/3 of a cup powdered sugar and 2 tablespoons of water. It looks like lots of ingredients, but it's not really that much. So I hope you give it a try, and let's go. As a first step, we will need to warm up the milk. So here is half a cup milk. Let's put it in a microwave for 30 seconds. Make sure the milk is only warm, not extremely hot, because you would kill the yeast. So here I have granulated sugar, but I put only 1 tablespoon into the bowl, and then the other tablespoon I'll put in my mixing bowl, because it would be too much sugar and it would be very hard to dissolve. Let's add 1 teaspoon dry yeast. Mix it. The sugar will not completely dissolve because it's lots of it, but later we will just scrape it into our dough. And now let it sit for about 10 minutes until you see it's nicely bubbly and foamy. In our mixing bowl, we have 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar, and now let's add 1 3/4 of a cup all-purpose flour. Add 1 egg. This is everything we are going to add right now, so we will need to wait until our yeast is ready. But meanwhile, add half a stick of unsalted butter into a cup and soften it. If, for example, you had a chance to let it sit outside for some time and it has a room temperature and it is soft, then it's okay. But if not, and it came out of the fridge, then it will be super hard. So let's just soften it for a little bit. Milk looks beautiful. It foamed up, as you can see. So add it to this bowl. And I got a spatula because, as you see, the bottom has some sugar still. So just with the help of spatula, scrape it from the bowl, because you want to get everything out. And if you want, you can just do a little bit of the 2 tablespoons. Like, you don't have to put the full 1 tablespoon of sugar. You just can do 1 teaspoon out of those 2 tablespoons and then add everything into the bowl. But I wanted to make it a little easier for you guys. You will want to use the hook attachment. So now we will start the mixing, but we don't have a butter there yet. So here, for the nice and light fluffy dough, it's the best if the flour has a chance to absorb the milk instead of the butter. And then we will use the butter later. So let's just mix it for a little bit until you see that the flour absorbed the most of the milk. So as you can see, we have a pretty firm dough, which is great. So that means the flour soak up the milk. And now we will be adding half a stick of softened butter. And I have a spatula to help me to get it all out. I just kind of wipe it on there. And now you want to mix it for 8 minutes. The reason why is we want to give the dough a chance to release the gluten and also for it to not be sticky. Because this will look like very runny dough, but that's what we want because it's very soft and nice dough, but we don't want it sticky. So let's set up the timer for 8 minutes. It will be sticking to the bottom, but that's completely perfect. This is because the dough is really soft. 8 minutes are done, so let's turn it off. And I just washed my hands. And now let's remove it from the hook. It's very soft, but it's not sticky. So now get a little bit of flour, sprinkle it on the top. Now cover the bowl with a clean kitchen towel and let it rest in a warm place for 1 hour. But meanwhile it's resting, we will work on other things. Here I have 1 cup of blueberries, 5 ounces, and I like to wash them. Now I have here a bowl with some paper towel and I put the wet blueberries in it because you don't want to use wet fruit. So I just will cover it up like this, and while the dough is rising, this has a chance to dry. And now we will prepare our crumble topping. So here is 1/3 of a cup all-purpose flour, 2 tablespoons powdered sugar, and 2 tablespoons softened unsalted butter. Again, I washed my hands, so now let's crumble it together. You kind of try to squeeze the butter with your fingers and try to mix it all together. You try not to have big chunks of butter. This looks good. It's nice and crumbly. Everything is nicely mixed. So now let's set it aside. And the last step we are preparing while our dough is rising is the sugar coating. So here I have 2 tablespoons of water. Let's add 1/3 of a cup powdered sugar. Now whisk it. And now you can put your feet up and wait for your dough. After 1 hour, the dough nicely doubled. This is a small dough because we are making only 8, but you can make 10 smaller ones. This is 8 medium ones, and you can also double everything, and this way you have plenty for everybody. So let's get it out onto a board. Here I have a baking tray with the baking paper, and I put these knives on here so the paper doesn't roll before I will put some dough balls on it. So we need to cut it into 8, and look at this dough, it's amazing. Doesn't stick, it's nice. So I will cut it in half. If you want to have them exactly the same, then put the whole dough onto a scale and then divide it by 8. And now this one I cut into another half. This one also in half. And now each piece into half. Yeah, I got it. It's okay. If it's too sticky, you can use flour. And now from each cut, I will kind of like fold it into a ball. A little bit release air also. kind of like this. So we have a nice round ball. See? And now put it on a tray. And I know I will put 4 in each row. So kind of like space it. And then let's do another one. I love this dough. This is so soft and nice. Again, I kind of make a nice ball. And put it on a tray. And just continue with all of them. Some are a little bigger than others, but this is all good. Now we can remove the knives. Give them 5 minutes to get a little bigger. Also, let's preheat the oven to 380 Fahrenheit. Another step we need to do is to melt butter. This is for brushing them. So let's put it for 30 seconds in a microwave. 5 minutes are done, and now we will need to press them to make the center for the blueberries. And I really love this wooden tool that I have from Czech Republic, and I also sell these. So I will put it in a description or in the comments. So first, this is for smaller Kolache. This is for bigger. We will need the bigger one. So first we need to put it in a flour, and now you just press in the center or on the top. Press hard. You can press again. Yeah, now this is perfect. Like for example, now I have too much, so I kind of hit it because we want a little bit. And just press and turn. And you can do it again. You kind of do it so you almost see through the baking paper, because it will go up anyway. The dough is rising under my hands. And you can also kind of shape them. If you see a little bit crack, just kind of make them nice. They look perfect. I moved them a little bit up because my tray is really long and they will get big in the oven. Now here I have the melted butter, and let's brush mainly the sides. You don't want to brush the center, like there is no need. But the sides are brushed so they don't stick to each other. I have my amazing goose feather brush that I also sell. They are so good. Very old-fashioned, traditional, but also they work the best. Look how they hold the butter. Now it's time for the blueberries. So just fill into some, and then you can add more later. If you don't have fresh, you can use frozen ones. You don't need to defrost them. Just put it straight in there, frozen. And I used all of them. Now we will do the crumble topping. We will be very generous. It might come off a little bit on the sides, but that's okay, don't worry about it. And as you see, the dough is still rising, and it will continue to rise in the oven and create a delicious collage. I just put them in. The oven was preheated to 380 Fahrenheit. And in my oven, it takes about 16-17 minutes. But as you know, every oven bakes different. So just make sure that they have a nice golden brown color. And here they are. And they're so beautiful. Look at that. And now you will want to be generous because we will use everything. And just like that, go over each collage. You will hear the sizzle. But this makes it nice and sweet. Not overly sweet, just perfect sweetness. And now I will go again. to use everything out. Now let's move them into a cooling rack. Look at these beauties. And now I will have to wait until it cools off to sample it, because the blueberries have juices. If you bite into them right now, you can burn yourself. So just be careful and let them cool off nicely. So now it's time to taste test, and I know that these are amazing, and I wish that you could smell the house because it's incredible smell. You just have to make them. So let's go for it. Oh, so beautiful. Wow, these are so good. The dough is soft, and then you have the blueberries, which I try to take the bite so I can get the blueberries too. And the blueberries are just so juicy and they just explode with flavor. And then you have the crunchy topping, and then the sugar coating, which gives it a nice flavor altogether. These are so good. And these are the traditional kolache. And I hope that you really make it, because for immigrants it was important to bring it to USA and to make them, and not only USA but the whole world. And for me it's also important that this tradition just keeps on going to generations and generations. But I'm all about the traditional kolache, and these are the traditional ones. So make sure to not let it to die off, and let's keep on making them, and let's introduce people to this amazing pastry that we are so proud of. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you make them, please share the photos with me, follow me on my social media, also subscribe to my YouTube channel, put thumbs up, because that always makes me happy. Oh, and one more thing. This recipe makes 8 of them. And it is just 2 of us in the house. So we cannot eat all 8 at the same day. So what I do, as soon as they cool off, I put them in a freezer. Put them in a Ziplocs and freeze them. This way we can have them for breakfast because they defrost pretty fast. And if you have, for example, some leftover for next day, and you don't want to put it in a freezer, you can put it in a microwave for like 10 seconds, and they are soft and also warm. Or if you like crunchy, you can put them in a toaster oven, which is also great. So I hope you enjoyed it. Let's keep making them, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. Bye, guys. We will coat it with sugar coat it after they are baked. And for that we will need 1/3 of a cup not all-purpose flour. Here I have a baking tray with the baking powder.